going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel again today. Thank you for tuning in. As you guys can probably see from the title of the video, today we are going to be talking about the tube doors on the FJ. We have taken them out a few times now to a few shows on the highway. We went from Colorado Springs to Denver, so we had a good, hour commute, hour and 15 minutes up to the other side of Denver with the tube doors on. So we're going to talk about that, how they were off-roading and all that stuff, and then just talk about a few little key things that people have had questions about and all that stuff. So stay tuned. We're going to start talking about these Warrior product tube doors. First off, guys, let's talk about one of the most common and most obvious questions I get a lot, and how do the tube doors actually handle mud? So as you guys can see, Ram Off-Road Park had a little bit of mud down in their creek bed that we went through. So we did get a little bit of mud action, and here's kind of the outcome. The tube doors actually didn't do too bad. The nets actually caught a lot of the mud from actually entering the vehicle, but from the giant, basically space underneath the tube door itself, you will see that we still did get mud all up on the inside of the door sill, as well as into mainly the back seat. So what you really are going to be seeing, I got a little bit on the spark hose, just a little bit on the sides. We did get hit with a little bit of mud actually on us while we were in the vehicle, but for the most part, it didn't do too bad. I mean, in all honesty, I was expecting it to be much worse. The nets were actually very surprising. A lot of the mud came in here this kind of direction, which, if you guys can see here, with the long travel, I am kicked out quite far, so I'm throwing a lot of mud basically in this whole region up onto the vehicle. So for the most part, the nets actually didn't do too bad. So I would pass the tube doors on mud. We will see what happens when I actually run into full riverbeds and all that kind of stuff where we will get stuck and all that stuff. So we'll see. I'm assuming that we'll probably be throwing mud all up on the upper edge of the door, up onto the ceiling. So I will definitely do another review at that point later on. But for the most part, the tube doors are handling very well with regards to mud. So besides the mud, let's go ahead and hop into the FJ. It's a little dark in my garage, but the one thing that you will notice running the tube doors, just like running your windows rolled down, you are going to get filthy. So this thing was, I fully detailed this thing basically the day before we went to Ram Off-Road Park, because we went to the the pizzeria show up in Castle Rock, so this was all spotless. And as you guys can see from one event out, we are just, everywhere. There's dust all over the radio, all over the center console, all over the dash. So if you want to stay clean and you do not want to get dust inside your car, the tube doors may not be the right route for you. We personally do not care. This car is built to go off-road, so we might as well just not worry about it anyway. So I think they're more fun than basically having to worry about the dust and all that stuff. So what our plan is going to be is we're just going to leave them on. That's why it's in the garage. So we're going to leave them on basically as long as we can during the summer. And then basically once fall comes around and starts getting cooler and all that stuff, we're going to throw the stock doors back on. So kind of stay tuned for that. The tube doors should be in a lot of videos from now on. So besides, the mud and the dirt and all that stuff, how are they riding around town? So riding around town, these things are awesome. So basically, you really don't get above, 45, 50 maybe around town. So the tube doors actually handle that driving very well. It's really not too loud. You basically are not getting a whole lot of wind in the inside. It's basically just like rolling around with your windows down. Very cool little thing. The only thing that is kind of inconvenient is that now you basically don't have a door. So if you go into any stores and all that stuff, you do have to kind of lock your latch if you want to. I do personally lock my latches. The whole reason why, the alarm and everything is still active on the FJ. So when you actually go to open the door, the alarm will go off. So for example, at Toy Tech a few weeks back, we had the FJ was out there at the show and everything was great. But a few times we're across the lot and I would hear a car alarm going off, and sure enough, it's mine, but not necessarily from someone trying to open the doors because I had them locked. But the FJ does have that, whatever it is, the occupancy pressure sensor, whatever it is. So basically, if you stick an arm inside or anything like that, it senses that and the car goes off. So that's what I was kind of running into a lot when we were actually at Toy Tech. So that's one of the things where, if you trust your community and all that stuff, you really don't need to worry about it. But you might have your car alarm going off once in a while. So far, off-road, great. Not a problem at all with them. A little bit of mud inside, not too bad. Dusty, yeah, it's going to be dusty, but you know what? It's part of the fun. Around town, great as well. Really no complaints. Just make sure that you don't have anything valuable sitting in plain sight so people can just get into your FJ and all that stuff. But I do have the Husky locking center console. So that's one thing I did add. I added that years ago. It was just nice to have it just because when I put my Sparco seats in, it was nice to maintain an armrest as well. So that's kind of nice, so I can just throw stuff in there if I really need to, even though I don't really use it as much anyways. Let's talk about the one thing that is a little bit of a pain with the tube doors, and that's going to be highway driving. So really, for the most part, if it's a nice day, if it's sunny, it's warm, really not basically any additional wind coming in, the tube doors will actually handle that just fine. You're going to get a little wind blown, but for 20, 30 minutes on the highway, not bad at all. So it'll handle 75 miles an hour, no issues. The issues do come along when, you go longer than 30 minutes on the highway, or how we encountered on the way back from Toy Tech, we had a high wind advisory. So we talk about, for mileage first. So for extended periods of time, the tube doors, they do get a little bit annoying almost. Again, driving from here to Toy Tech, it's about an hour and maybe 15 hour and 20 minutes. It was a long drive. It was definitely one of those things where you wanted to get out of the car, you didn't want to be in there anymore, which usually that drive's not bad at all. So that was just kind of one of the downsides to it. It was just kind of one of those things where it was just kind of getting sick of getting blasted with wind and all that stuff, which, if there's no doors, it's obvious it's going to happen. Jeep guys probably know all about that too. So it's not really a bad thing. It's just something you have to deal with. The only other thing that was actually bad about the car was driving in high wind advisories. So on the way back from Denver, we had come back down, basically hit Castle Rock. Again, high wind advisory. There was a storm rolling in. We didn't get rained on or anything like that, but the wind was just blasting us hard from the passenger side. So it was miserable. So that was the biggest complaint so far about the tube doors, which I never anticipated external wind being an issue with the tube doors, but definitely one of the big concerns that I would say for anybody who is looking at tube doors and all that stuff. If you were doing long drives, basically you're in the FJ for a long period of time, I would suggest maybe putting them on sparingly for the most part. But other than that, they're not bad. They really aren't. So Warrior product tube doors, I still love them. I think they're great. And now lastly, so let's go ahead and talk about one of the most obvious basically factors to having the tube doors on as well, and that is going to be weather. So as I said earlier in the video, I do park the FJ in the garage. So I don't have to worry as much about, rain and all that stuff when it's sitting at home. But if you do not plan in advance for if it's going to rain, if it's going to be, anything from snow to any of that stuff, you're going to get wet and you're going to get water on the interior. So again, the FJ is basically, for the most part, it's kind of waterproof. You have the rubber floors. On the stock models, you do have your waterproof seats and all that stuff. So it really won't take too much abuse. And really, for the most part, I don't think the rain's going to come in hard enough off the sides to affect any electronics or anything like that. We haven't had an issue. I did get rained on when I was at work one day. It just got the passenger seat a little bit wet. But it's just something, again, you'll have to deal with it if you have the tube doors. I am going to try to look for an option, not while driving or anything like that, but I would like to see if I can somehow make like a makeshift tarp that goes around the whole entire door itself. Maybe like sew in some magnets or something like that. So we'll see. I don't know. I want to find something that if I need to park it outside or, whatever happens, or, you're camping and all that stuff and you just don't want it open up all night long. If I could get something that's like a removable tarp, something like that. So we'll see. But other than that, you just got to anticipate your trip. That's the biggest thing with weather and tube doors. But that's about it, guys. As I said, I just want to hit a few of the key topics about the tube doors. Give anybody a little bit more information before they go buy a set. Again, these are the Warrior product ones. I know I've said that like 3 times. But I do get questions, people asking me if these are the Metal Tech ones or not. And I'm like, no, I don't have a lot of experience with those ones. So they might be better with mud because I think they go a little bit lower actually on the door. But maybe if I ever get a chance to actually see a set of those, I could do another little review about that. But, for the most part, they're just fun, guys. It's one of those things where you can't take it too seriously. I know some people are like, oh, it ruined the look of the FJ. It looks stupid. But you know what, man? It's all about having fun. So I enjoy them. I think they're a blast. If you guys ever do have a chance to pick them up, definitely do so. If I end up, I'll keep them forever. So basically, I'm going to have these things on, as I said earlier in the video, I'm going to have them on during the summer, take them off in the fall, and just be kind of one of those things where it just kind of makes it fun, So, yeah, no complaints at all. But hey, thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for checking out the tube doors. We're going to have some more fun here soon. I have a flat to fix. Not really flat. The bead lock's leaking on this FJ wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and repair that, and then we're going to get the FJ back on the street. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. Like all our videos, comment anything you guys want to see. Please subscribe to the channel, and have a great day, guys. Have a good one. Bye.